The stage lights were blinding, but for 12-year-old Daniel Cruz, they felt more like a promise than a threat. He stood barefoot on the glossy floor of the talent show stage, clutching the microphone with both hands as though it were the last piece of hope he had left. His clothes were plain, his eyes carried the weight of 1,000 silent battles, and his heart raced louder than the cheering crowd waiting to see what this small boy would do. The judges glanced at him, curious but cautious. Kids had walked on this stage before, some nervous, some overconfident, some forgettable. But there was something different about Daniel. Maybe it was the quiet strength in his gaze, or maybe it was the way he stood, firm, yet fragile, like a candle in the wind refusing to go out. "Tell us your name," one judge asked gently. "Daniel," he whispered. His voice was soft, but steady. "And what will you be singing tonight?" Daniel hesitated. The truth was, he wasn't just singing. He was surviving. His mother had worked 2 jobs until cancer forced her to stop. His father had left long ago. For the past year, Daniel had been the caregiver, the comforter, and sometimes even the provider, carrying burdens far heavier than any 12-year-old should. Music had been his only refuge, his only prayer whispered into the night when hospital bills and worry suffocated his sleep. So instead of naming the song, Daniel simply said, "Something that means everything to me." The audience leaned forward. The judges nodded. And then it began. The first note that escaped Daniel's lips was not just a sound, it was a soul laid bare. The theater went silent, as though the world itself paused to listen. His voice was fragile yet piercing, carrying pain and hope in equal measure. Each word wrapped around the audience like a confession, each breath a reminder that beauty could rise even from brokenness. By the second verse, the crowd was already wiping tears. It wasn't just singing. It was the story of a boy who had seen too much, too soon. A boy who had every reason to give up, but chose instead to stand, to fight, to sing. The cameras caught the judges exchanging looks, eyes glassy, throats tightening. One of them whispered, "This is different." But then came the moment that no one expected. In the middle of the song, Daniel's voice cracked, not from lack of skill, but from the sheer weight of emotion. For a split second, he lowered the microphone, his eyes darting as though he had failed. And then, from the back of the audience, something extraordinary happened. A woman stood up and began singing along with him. Her voice was shaky, but warm. Then another person joined, and another. Within seconds, the entire crowd was singing Daniel's song with him. Daniel froze. He had spent so many nights believing he was alone. And here, in this moment, an arena full of strangers was telling him he wasn't. His eyes filled with tears, but this time, he didn't let go of the microphone. He lifted it again, his voice rising higher, stronger, carried by thousands. The judges couldn't hold it in any longer. One of them pressed their hand to their chest, another dabbed their eyes with a tissue. And then, before the final chorus ended, the judge in the middle slammed their palm down on the golden buzzer. Confetti exploded from the ceiling, showering the boy in gold. The crowd roared to its feet, stomping and clapping, a thunderstorm of love. Daniel fell to his knees, unable to comprehend what was happening. The same stage where he had arrived barefoot, carrying nothing but a dream, was now his sanctuary of triumph. A judge ran up to hug him, whispering, "You just reminded us all why we're here. Not for perfect voices, not for fame, but for truth. And you, Daniel, are truth." In that moment, Daniel wasn't just a contestant. He was a beacon. A reminder that no matter how heavy the darkness, a single voice can break through. He didn't just sing a song. He gave everyone in that room a piece of courage they didn't know they needed. Later that night, as Daniel held the golden confetti in his hands, he thought of his mother. She wasn't strong enough to come watch, but he knew she was home, praying, hoping. For the first time in a long time, Daniel allowed himself to believe, maybe the world was big enough to hold his pain and still return kindness. And as the cameras captured his trembling smile, people around the globe felt something shift inside them. A reminder that every child, no matter where they come from, deserves a chance to be heard. Because sometimes, the smallest voices carry the greatest power. And Daniel's voice had just changed the world.